Hey, everybody. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings, Saturday, the 6th of June, 2026. We had a thunderstorm a little while ago, cooled down things a little bit. It has not been obnoxiously hot here, though. It's been fairly comfortable, but definitely in the 70s and some spots probably so the 80s. So let's get started. Karen Phillips is here. Hey, Miles Wright as well. Nice to have Karen and nice to have Miles Wright as well. Good to see that you're here with us tonight, and hopefully a lot more will join us. In fact, we already have 10, so sign in. I know some people never sign in, and we don't know where you are. I always like to know where you're from, whether you use a fake handle or whatever. Um, YouTube can tell your IP address, of course. They know what they need to know. And nothing more. Hey, Carol Cook. Hi, Jack. How are you? Saw your nice comment from the live stream we did last night from Festival Square, John Degnan's Square. Brought you a little bit of the group High Five. I didn't keep it up. It got 210 views. I took it down before 3 o'clock in the morning, but some people got to see it. I'm always uncomfortable with that because I know some countries will block it. I don't want hassles. I've never really had a problem except they said, well, you can't monetize it, and that's fine. That's my gift to you. If I think something is special, I want you to have a taste of it whenever possible. It's not always possible. I don't think that would be possible. I would not feel right about Franklin, New Jersey. Franklin, New Jersey. I've never been to Franklin, New Jersey. Have I? Maybe. Franklin, Tennessee. But that will be captured by others, but it'll be captured with 9 professional cameras, and they'll be recording a CD when Pastor Bob Joyce comes to the Franklin Theater on Friday night, July 10th, with a meet and greet Thursday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. I don't have a location on that. I don't know if anybody here got the location for the meet and greet. Rain on the Gulf Coast, says Annette Turner. Helen McDonald is here. Hi, and friends. Welcome to you. See if we'll get one of your fellow Aussies. There's been one missing, hasn't there? So that's some of the people that checked in. Let me go to my own channel here real quick. Already I have people to thank. It seems like I have some angels that God has sent me, that even when we're struggling in terms of per 1,000 views, the angels step in. I don't know how many times God has to remind me that I'm very blessed with the people that we have here, So let's see. Yeah. Let me go to my channel first. And there we are. Beware of so-called Big Bob Joyce announcements. I'm going to be real honest with you. I didn't have much by 8:20 tonight. I thought, well, I want to talk about something, but it's probably best for a pre-recorded video. What am I going to talk about on the live show? I gave it some thought during the day. But by 8:20, I said, I don't have anything. Maybe I should sit in the easy chair by the window and just do one of those fireside chats without the fireside, because I don't have a fireplace, because that always seems to work out nicely. But then I started looking at something, see what was going on with other people, and that kind of put a fire in me. And I don't want to have a fire about any other creator and then have somebody else think, oh, he's talking about, our outfit again. I don't want to do that, but it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Things stir me, and, when you're going to say you got a big announcement, people know whether it's true or not because you're going to actually do it, you know? Um, Unless you say, well, if you go to my VIP room, jive, that kind of stuff. I don't do those games here. I don't want you to join anything. You don't have to buy me a coffee, but that's cool that creators that do that, that works for them. They need a revenue. I understand that. They need revenue too. And if that's the way they want to do it, fine. But I don't have any of those little tricks, pay to subscribe. I'm very gratified by people that would hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't done it, please do it. I'd like to get to 12,000 subscribers before I hit 100 years old, because once I'm 100, I don't know how many videos I'll be doing here. You know what I'm saying? Um, so anyway, so I checked things out, and that brought a little bit of fire into my soul, but I have to do it as a gentleman, don't I, Katina Swatsworth? How are you, Katina, from the great state of Pennsylvania? Chris and Katina Swatsworth, Team SWAT. Team SWAT. Nice to have you here. My granddaughter graduated yesterday. Well, well, well. It is the season, isn't it? It is the season. Ready to change the world by becoming a teacher. She's raised with Southern pride and love, Annette Turner says. Just tell her not to do it in New York City. There's a big uptick on teachers being assaulted by their students because, that's the kind of world we live in now. Children given no rules too many of the times. Parents have no idea where their kids are, and they're raising havoc downtown, attacking police and what have you. And they have no idea. They've never given them any moral compass, or maybe they tried. Maybe they tried, and we all have rebelled in our youth, haven't we? So I know there's that too. How are you, Amanda Mosheni? Welcome. I forget where you're from. Oh, you just told me from the UK. I'm going to get to write to a little bit of content. And Pam Donley, Nonstick Pam, Pam Spam. Good to see you here as well. So yeah, that's what we put in the title there. So I was just I looked over at the the other guy's channel, and all of a sudden I felt a fire stirring, because I've been doing this for a while, a lot longer than he has. I may not have any skills as a military officer. I certainly didn't have those kind of physical skills when I was a peace officer for 19 years. I faked my way through it. I'm the first to admit it. Not that I was no benefit on the job. I was, but I just wasn't the guy you wanted to have your back if you were being attacked. I'll be honest with you. It's just not my thing. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm a DJ, not a police officer. But hey, good pay, pension, two small kids. What was I to do? Say no to the job? I had all this security experience. I'd been a captain, been, post supervisor. So they thought, well, okay, he's got some experience. They didn't care if I made arrests. Perfect. So, yeah, so I checked over there, and then the fire started in me because I know what this can lead to. I know what this can lead to. What the heck was the name of that video that we did that night? Should be able to find that, where we were talking about allegations that had been made, and I have no idea whether there's a lick of truth to them. And I certainly support someone if they feel they are being falsely accused of setting the record straight. Where I would part ways is you can't control every word that comes out of the flock's mouth. All of a sudden we get Pentecostal holiness. All of a sudden we're Quakers, and the pastor should be able to control every word that comes out of his congregant's mouth. And God forbid one of his band members does something 2 states over. There's more proof that Pastor Bob's not a good shepherd. And that, to me, just rang crazy. I just disagreed vehemently. You could use the word vehemently. So We talked about that, and it became a pretty hot topic. And the publisher of George Magazine, Dave Blaze, I have to say it, blame the source. Don't blame me. I can't let this stuff go forever. Deal with it. Deal with it because the person has said he's affiliated with you. I don't know. I don't know what he is. You know, but I cannot ignore all this. It hurts all the Bob Joyce creators when there's this glut of gibberish out there, glut of gibberish. However, it's your channel. You can have it. You can have that. But I have to call it out because people say, "Oh, what's this going on?" and claims about this being big project, big, going through the roof and all this. And then people look and, well, they probably don't even bother to look and they see, well, that's not a lot of views. That's not a lot of subscribers for this music stream. So one would wonder if it's all that big of a deal. It's very hard. It's very hard. I play contemporary Christian music on a 14 station network when it was really hot back in the day, station that's up in Kingston, New York. That was where home base was. And then it was pretty hot. You had all the greats, Bob Carlyle, DeGarmo and Key, Amy Grant, allies with Bob Carlyle, and there was just a ton of others, and yeah, people were listening to the radio, and they were excited. And back then, the station had a hometown feel to it, even though we were heard in 7 states, and people really enjoyed some of the programming on there very, very much, and included a fair amount of teaching, which started to slip away. And what I notice with contemporary Christian artists is that they tend to copy the world style, whatever the current world style. If Creed is really big, all of a sudden on contemporary Christian radio, you're hearing a lot of similar voices to whatever that guy's name is that is or was the lead singer of Creed. So radio is certainly not, music on the radio is certainly not as hot as it was in, say, 1989, 1990. And in terms of Christian music, all throughout the 90s into the 2000s, just some really, really good stuff. But it's harder now. It's harder. And if you say something, it should be able to be substantiated by facts. So what I read tonight is that there's going to be some big announcement coming up. Big announcement coming up. Talk to the person who wrote it, not me. Do your podcast on Monday and say that Jack Willard is at it again. But no, you got it wrong if you say that, okay? You got it wrong. So some big announcement coming. Now, that makes me have to revisit what was said in my thread in this channel, if I could just find it. But I know what it was, so I can relate it to you. Jack, what's your Cash App address? Is Miles right? Yeah, that's a better way, Miles. It really is. And I'll write that down right now. And then I'm going to do that. I've told everybody before, I interviewed Gene Ho. He interviewed me. It was as wonderful could be. I think he's got a tremendous amount of broadcast talent. I don't think that of everybody, but I think he's got a tremendous amount of broadcast talent. And, thought he had an amazing story, told me about his early years. Didn't seem to include him being Bruce Lee either. It's a lowercase letters, Media Guy 56, Media Guy 56. Miles, right. You are one of those angels, and I'll talk about that. Well, here's Jackie Organ back. I thought she had left and took the train to the plane. I don't know how many trains you have in Australia. Don't know too much about that, but Helen McDonald is happy, I'm sure. Jay Pogera, Jack, you're on fire tonight. Not really. I just, I'm thinking, I almost thought about reintroducing Jack Savage. There's like 3 Jack Savage videos here, which was inspired by Michael Savage. And just like Mark Levin, when Mark starts off, he's kind of calm, But then as he starts to talk about the issues of today and all the shysters that are holding political office, the tone starts to get higher and higher and higher. Karen's in the room says, "Will you turn that down? I can't take that screaming." It's just Mark's passion. He's the number one radio nighttime jock. Comes on at 6 o'clock. They air 2 hours. And then Roger Stone comes on WABC. I love Roger Stone. He's great. He was taught by the best people how to do this, including Mark Levin. And he's actually the things that happened to Roger Stone, he spent time, rather than give up the president and say something false, he went to jail for 3 or 4 months. Roger Stone is a good guy, from what I can tell. So Donald Stone is here. Donald, I'm glad you are, but he retracted his message. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you, but I would love to hear your take. Donald was at Coleman, Alabama to see Pastor Bob Joyce. Gave me some of the skinny there, and I appreciated that very much. So talk, Donald. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I really would. Jackie Organ saying hello to Elaine Peterson, another one of our angels, Elaine Peterson. And I don't think I've missed too many people here. Massachusetts. Yes, the beautiful state of Massachusetts. It's a beautiful state for sure. Love to visit there. Oh, she lives in Massachusetts. Okay. Well, I guess, are we talking Boston, or are we talking Lowell, Massachusetts, or a suburb like that, something like that? I found my time in Boston and Cambridge. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, So congratulations to your granddaughter, Annette Turner. Robin Roman joins us. Hi there, Jack, and everyone. So yeah, I was thinking about bringing Jack Savage back because he can kind of say things that I can't say, but there's still, believe me, there's still a limit. Sometimes Michael's gotten too upset, and he's got. I don't have a glass with me tonight. I got my orange Gatorade, semi-frozen. Don't want to get that on the board. Semi-frozen. Anyway, it's always that the big announcement is going to come at around the time we're going live. That's another thing I find very funny, or something big is going on the music channel. I looked at the views. I don't see any phenomenon, I don't see any phenomenon. But hey, Christian music glorifying the Lord Jesus Christ, that's a good thing. It's a tough struggle, just like print is. If we're gonna be just honest, print is a really difficult thing. You've got to find a way to transition to video, where video becomes the primary source. Here we had a newspaper that everybody used to buy, the Times Herald Record. The office was right down there on Fulton Street, and about 25 trucks, yellow trucks, went out after midnight every night. And there was great reporters and great columnists like the late Mike Levine. And, I actually tried to deliver. It was such a big route that I had over mountains and hills. I just wasn't cut out for that job. But thousands and thousands of people bought the Times Herald Record. 2026, it's the size of a freaking flyer. the paper, and they have Record Online. Record Online. It was bought by USA Today. So there goes any kind of a conservative slant that might have been in there. And I don't know. Obituaries went from something like 60 to $70 to an astronomical price, especially if you want a picture and you want some, say this guy had an accomplished life, you're going to pay some money. So I'm just saying things are different in 2026. It's very, very difficult for any print magazine to do well. The times have changed. If you haven't noticed, there's no rotary dial phones around too much anymore. The 8 tracks have gone, and the big killer music radio stations are either gone or not what they used to be. How sad. That's why I want my time machine, and I want to go back to about 1966. But I don't want to be as young as I was then, which is 10. Say 16. So yeah, I just thought, we'll see what the big announcement is, huh? We'll see what the big announcement is. I hope the big announcement is not, well, if you go to my VIP room or something like this. It's this kind of stuff. When you oversaturate, one video is, why is the internet obsessed with Bob Joyce? Well, you've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos on the topic, so you should be able to tell us that. But when a story occurs, like something that was accused of a popular person who I like and like then, and I still like, but uh, when it involved Pastor Bob Joyce, I think I looked at it from a reporter view. Is there any validity to what's being said here? Um, People having a perception at a concert. I'm sorry, especially in 2026, you ain't gonna find Christians that are gonna give up that right. You're not gonna. This is not, this is not that kind of environment. I think I know exactly who said that the pastor can teach and set standards, but ultimately it's up to you whether you follow them or not. Really, the personal a walk of a Christian has little to do with anybody but the person who is seeking Christ and Christ Himself. Uh, a church experience a couple of times a week can only go so far. So that's why there's been Christian movements, let's say, that said, well, we're going to have everybody live together and we're going to focus on Christ as one big community. And boy, some terrible things have happened when that was tried. Some terrible things. So exaggerate. Yeah, you're right about that, Robin Roman. Anyway, they taught me something in broadcasting school in 74. They taught me to have a one-on-one conversation with the people like it's your best friend. Um, you don't BS your best friend. You don't hype talk your best friend unless you're trying to say, yeah, see that beautiful girl over there? I dated her. I'm trying to be as careful as I can here. That kind of thing, a little bit of that. And your best friend will say, no, you didn't, because I know you. I'm your best friend. So when that unfortunate story, which I had nothing to do with, broke, and there was comments on my thread from Dave Blaze, editor-in-chief. I'm sorry, I have to explain this again. If your attitude is that, oh, here he goes bringing it up again, talk to the person who causes it. Talk to him. Get the source right. Dave Blaze made controversial statements. He put down Pastor Bob Joyce. He said that he was kind of the leader. They're starting to look at him as the leader of this deception, and that threw in that he's not Elvis, and there's not too many people that want a old Elvis impersonator. Did you ever apologize to Pastor Bob for that, Dave Blaze? How do you expect that there would be a relationship. Oh, he's going to come running back. I would be very surprised if that happens. There's a reconciliation I don't know about. I didn't ask my sources about that. But there's Pastor Bob has a blog at bobjoycemusic.com. He has people flocking to his concerts. There's a documentary coming out. There's no way he needs any print magazine. Um, and if he was paid for that, Pastor Bob's MO is to put it all right back into the church. So I thought all this was very unfair. I thought all of it was very unfair. I have no idea uh, what Gene's condition was when he took the stage. I just thought people had a right to comment on it. The band allegedly, from what I was told from numerous sources, commented on it, and then it was taken down. So it's okay to say these things, We like to play the victim, but no, though that was a valid story. When Dave Blaze made those comments in my thread, and I'll find them again, he made it a story. He made it a bigger story, blew it up. He didn't do that on the other guys. He did it on my thread. In a way, I was complimented. So, you know how I feel about taking the Bob Joyce concert from Cabot, Arkansas, and putting up more than fair use clips. I didn't put up any clips on it, but I will use a clip of his sermon. I want to help uh, people hear the word of God. The thing is if you do it properly, you get some views out of that. You're doing a tease that will make them want to go to the actual source, bobjoyce.org, and hear and see the whole sermon. So everybody comes out a winner. When you put up a whole song from Cabot, Arkansas, where it says right in the beginning, you're making me do this, when it says right in the beginning, copyright, Household of Faith, Bob Joyce, when it says that and you do that, you should consider yourself real fortunate that you'd lose the copyright strike on that. You would lose it. Believe me, I have talked to people that have had those kind of problems. So when you do that and you get more views than you're getting with any of the other stuff, you're taking those, in my opinion, you're taking those away from Household of Faith and their ministry. It's their copyright. You went beyond the tease. You know that. And people can see every time you do something about Bob Joyce, it's either going to be a swing and a miss because they can see it's just fluff, and they're not buying into it because now they've been fooled before, and that's how I think they would see it. That's my personal opinion. They've been fooled before, so they're going to be leery now. And when you put up a lot of stuff that may be a lot of hot air and no meat and potatoes, even though you do great graphics and people love pretty pictures and pretty thumbnails and what have you, I get that. But what it does is it ruins it for everyone. Donald Stone, where are you? Help me out here. If you're still here, I'm looking to you. Hey, Miss Susan Carter. Hello, Jack and family. Wonder if I took my blood pressure now, what it would be. I'm going to take a pill. I'm going to take a pill. How are you, Miss Carter? Nice to see you here on Worldwide Ramblings. I promise you I'm going to lower the voice now. I'm going to lower the voice. You're heading into winter, Jackie Organ? It's so strange there. So strange. Robin Roman makes an interesting comment. Clickbait. Yeah, that's something that happens here, and it happens with the big guys that I used to love, like Tucker. I even used to like Candace Owens. And I just, how can you be Tucker Carlson, a millionaire, and fall into that pattern? It's fine if you have opinions on the violence in Gaza, children being killed. It's fine if if you have discovered and you think you have good sources saying that Palestinian prisoners in Israel are not being treated right. Say it, man. Say it. If you think you've got reliable sources on that, I hate that. I don't believe anybody should be mistreated like that, because when they see that Israel's doing it and then they have Israeli prisoners, well, there you go. Why are they going to justify it then? You know? So I understand that. But to say that Iran is not a nuclear threat when they have made promises to blow Israel out of existence and the United States of America too. You want to end this nonsense and all the other stuff they do, which affects our economy and affects the people all around the world, the UK too, the UK as well. My goodness, they even struck Saudi Arabia. So clickbait didn't go too far with me. I unsubscribed. He teases by hinting instead of revealing. I'm being vague. You're being um you're double talking. That's what they would have told me in broadcasting school if I tried something like that. No, 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 no. You're double talking and people will catch on pretty quick. Gibberish is gibberish, you know. Don't try to say something is really big when it's not. Don't do that because they can look right there at the subscribers and what have you. It's real hard. Starting multiple channels, I think it was Neo that suggested I start a second channel and what I should do on it. I'd be starting from 0 subscribers, you know. No, when you work years to get to a very modest amount of subscribers, really approaching 12,000, you don't want to start from zero again. Um, I'm 70 years old. I don't know how much time I got left. I don't want to spend it talking to 7 or 8 people, you know. I don't want to do that. So, but I'm open to doing different topics here. And that's always the plan, but it's always a struggle because the algorithm doesn't show it to the people that might be interested. See how calm I got? So we'll see if there's any big announcement um, concerning Bob Joyce and George Magazine. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, Ken Winters, I see you here. Hello, Jack. Ken is the gentleman that lives close by. What did we do today? We were out there at the Big W for a little while. Got myself a couple more YouTube shirts, but you're not going to see them till after Franklin, Tennessee. The plan is for me to go to both the meet and greet and the Friday night concert in Franklin, Tennessee at the Franklin Theater. I'm very excited about that. Karen said, because at first I was in this struggle in my mind. You know, I can't be selfish here. You know, Karen is going to need a surgical procedure. She says, I'm not going to get that till way past then anyway. So I know you want to do this. Go do it. And they were nice enough to not cancel my offer, cancel their offer. I'm very appreciative of that. Jupiter's realm tornado warning. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, we had a severe thunderstorm warning and it came in, but you know, it depends what part of the county. Somewhere else, maybe 15 miles down the road, closer to New York City, or closer to the Catskills, although we're fairly close to the Catskills, they might have gotten it worse, you know? So I don't know for sure. 65 watching, 23 likes. I guess there's something to be had in the Howard Beale. Anybody watch Network in the 70s, the movie? Howard Beale, not Peter O'Toole. Was it Peter O'Toole? Maybe it was Peter O'Toole playing Howard Beale, the newscaster who went berserk and then got, as soon as he went crazy on air, his ratings went through the roof. You know, there's a certain thing. Um, I don't know how many are old enough to remember Jack Parr when he hosted the Tonight Show. I was too young when he was on, so I never saw him firsthand. I did see him later, but it always seemed like he was a man of high anxiety. He would admit to that, and that I think he was live, and people would tune in to see if this was the night that Jack Parr would just lose it on the air. You know, is this going to be the so the Howard Beale newscaster thing was just him being frustrated and angry about his own career and the world, and I'm mad as hell. Oh, people say, oh, just let me have my microwave and my toaster and my color TV. Let me have that. I won't say anything. I won't say anything. No, you've got to be mad as hell and say, I'm not going to take it anymore. That was a great movie. Faye Dunaway, who Bet Davis said was the most difficult, nasty actress she ever worked with. People have said that about Bet Davis, though. But everything has to be Miss Dunaway's way. She said this on the Johnny Carson show. He asked her who's the most difficult person, and she said, "I think you'll find quite a few people that will agree with me." Oh dear. I'm glad I came up here because I was thinking about just doing a fireside chat without a fireplace. Hi, Deborah McGinty, another one of our angels. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And don't misunderstand, those regular viewers are very important to me. Vera's here. Hello, Vera. Seems like it's been a while. Can I find you? I don't know. There she is. Vera. Why do I always have trouble with your last name? I want to change it to Vera Galgado, you know? That would roll off my tongue easier. Hello, Jack from Texas. Well, hello. You've been getting a lot of rain, right, Vera? My son tells me. Been getting a lot of rain and a little cooler than usual. Been cooling down and after those storms, but then I'm sure boiling hot other times. But an inordinate amount of rain in the Lone Star State of Texas. Huh. Love you, Jack, for telling it like it is. Always agree with you. You don't have to. I'm sure. I'm very capable of, believe me, I've been wrong in my life. And then I have known I was wrong and still went ahead and did it. Now, if that isn't a jackass, I don't know what is. I don't want it. So I'm really trying not to do that, I can think of times in my life when I got so obsessed, whether it be with another human being or what have you, and you lose all perspective on what's really important. You lie to yourself and say, I'll get away with this. I'll get away with this. First of all, there's somebody watching your every move, There's somebody watching your every move. There are so many creators on YouTube. I do follow a lot. I love Gloria's channel, Gloria Drummond, and of course, Dr. Reese. Of course you would. I knew you would like him. I told you would. I told you. He says he's going to retire at 50. We'll see. We'll see. Mick Jagger said when he was in his late 20s, I'm not going to be shaking me bum. I'll use not the word he used. I'm not going to be shaking my bum and rolling around the stage when I'm in my, I think he might have said 50s. Said 83-year-old Mick Jagger, who is, I think he was accurately described by the late great drummer Charlie Watts, the last official Rolling Stones drummer. They're very happy with their drummer now. Charlie recommended him, but he's not a Rolling Stone. You got to earn that. Um, but Charlie Watts said Mick is the best front man in the world. Best front man in the world. I guess I'd have to agree with that. And there's some great front entertainers. And then there's people that are stiff. And then there's people like Dylan, you expect him to say hardly anything and do exactly what he wants to do that night. And there's people that are just, like Tom Jones knows how to work the audience, Engelbert Humperdinck, McCartney does. McCartney's voice is not what it used to be, of course, but he's Paul McCartney. Yelling gets to me. Oh, I bet you yell. We need to just love one another. That reminds me of that 1969 song by the Youngbloods. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Time to love one another right now. Well, that didn't work out. Fortunately, Eve of Destruction didn't work out either. Like we're one step away from being blown to bits. It's kind of like the predictions of ex-president Al Gore. They just didn't come true. But that doesn't stop him from making a whole new batch, saying we might have a temporary ice age first. I'm not sure that's not true. But then again, it's all in God's hands. And when you look at it that way, you realize you don't really know. You're just guessing. You're just guessing. See if I missed anybody here. Pastor Bob gets a lot of attention for someone who claims he's not Elvis. Well, yeah, he's made there, I guess you could say, kind of vague denials without mentioning the word Elvis. The only time I really remember him, two times I remember him mentioning Elvis. One is when he was talking to himself in a sermon and called himself Elvis instead of Bob. Like God is talking to Bob, and he meant to say Bob, but he said Elvis. There's that sermon. I know you're going to ask me for the timestamp and the date, and can somebody help that knows that, because I don't know it offhand. And then, of course, there was the time when he did his first George magazine. Had a good thing going there. When they had the first George magazine service from the, what was that called, the first place? They had about 1,100 people there. And he says, you don't need Paul, you don't need Cypress, you don't need Bob Joyce, and you don't need Elvis. You need Jesus. And with that, he turned and walked back to the pulpit and put his glasses on. Great moment. A great moment indeed, Susan Carter. So I think I've said hello to everyone that's checked in. Still warm days in Australia, even though they're heading into winter there. You upside down people, you're literally upside down. Now, the flat earth people would say, no, you're not. You'd fall off. Then the other people would say, have you heard of gravity? I don't know. I don't focus on these things. People believe in a flat earth, and I know someone here does. I don't feel threatened by that, I don't feel threatened if you believe the entire space program is a bunch of hooey. I could have somebody on here that would talk about that, but then it's only fair if I had the other side on, right? No generator. Yeah, we've never had a generator in our life. Not here, not in either one of my marriages, not obviously in my youth. Never had a generator. Jack, are you driving or flying to Tennessee? I'm actually driving. At first, it was going to be a Greyhound bus. And I booked it. And then we canceled it, but they don't give you your money back. They give you credit. So I have a year to use what I spent for the ticket. and minus $4. They fine me $4 for their troubles. So yeah, I'm driving in gas prices that I don't think they're going to be down by then. But I know President Trump is going to do everything he can. But I really want this to start moving. I think all Republicans are nervous because when you have a brood of vipers waiting in the wings to grab control of the House and the Senate. I mean, 10 minutes after they do, if that were to happen, there'd be an attempt to impeach the president of the United States. Need a 2/3 for that, right? So, and then to pack the Supreme Court and to do whatever they could do to destroy what the good things that Trump has done since he's been in office. So yeah, I'm driving, but I'm not doing that beltway. So I'm taking the long way around. I I said that initially. I'm done with the Washington Beltway. So I would rather do 84 to 81 to 40, which adds about an hour and a half to the trip each way, you know. And in terms of household of faith on Sunday, that would be 10 more hours of driving total. 5 up, 5 back down, and then, just a lot of driving. So it's already a lot of driving, but that's the answer to your question. I'm driving. Well, so you survived your storm, Jupiter's realm? Loud thunder and lightning starting rain is a coming. Yeah, that's what we had, but it came in and went out so quick. Came in and went out very quickly. So Scott Pelley is gone from 60 Minutes. It seems like he kind of talked his way out. You don't do that in public. If you've got issues with the way you think they are going to, you don't even know for sure the way they're going to take 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes got called on the carpet for good reason a number of times, editing the Kamala thing to make her sound smarter than she is. No, Trump was right to do that. Now he's sued. He's won a few lawsuits, so I'm not sure if he got money for that or not. So yeah, that's what comes with summer, right? For those of us that are in summer, you get these violent thunderstorms, but we don't usually get tornadoes here, or certainly hurricanes. Some were saying it could be a pretty active hurricane season, which starts earlier than you think, but we're used to it being in October, October time. Huh. So please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Have you subscribed yet? Please take the time to do that now. Let's get over 12,000 subscribers. That would be really nice. I know the other guy has more than double that, and I don't mind that at all. What I try to do here is tell a chronological story that is fair and has some depth to it. People know when you don't have much. They know when you don't have much. So sometimes when the story is just quiet, it's just better to not try to as Al Larson, the newscaster, used to say, well, as he picked up his news copy and headed to the news studio, he'd say, it's time to give him the old razzle dazzle, razzle dazzle. But Al had a lot of depth in his content because he was a wonderful newsman. Thank you, Elaine Peterson. I appreciate that. M. Staten, you do support me. That's right. You're one of the angels. Good evening, Jack, from Bryant, Arkansas. I love the way they spell Bryant. Now, Bryant, that's where you have Gassie's gas station, right? Gassie's gas station is your Trailways or Greyhound bus terminal. There's no bus station in Benton, but there used to be, right? There used to be Greyhound bus station there, or at least a stop. But now it's at Gassie's gas station, and I think it's Bryant, Arkansas. Because Andy was looking at this for me, and he said, you got to go to Gassie's gas station, which is a few miles outside of Benton. And I hate those kind of stops because you can be standing there, you're the only one, and the bus is full. Now what do you do? Stand and you want to have a shot at getting on the line early where the bus originates if you can, but that's not always possible. 14 hours plus 1,000 miles each way. Yeah, exactly. I know. I just, well, we drove, it was over 4 hours to Wildwood, New Jersey last week. And, but when you're driving, you can stop at a rest stop and relax. You can stay at a hotel. Don't know that I'm going to do that. And then I'll be there for 2 nights at a hotel there. And, you know, it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And, I know I'll regret it forever if I don't do it. Jack, it affects countries around the world, including us here in Ozland. What's that? I know you just heard it and you're reacting to something I just said, but I have to think of what statement, what exactly does it affect? What are we talking about? Like if somebody says you're funny, well, hopefully I maybe have said more than one amusing thing. So I have to figure out which thing they think is funny. 62 watching right now. And but I do think it's going to be a big year, obviously, for the Pastor Bob Joyce story. I don't know how it relates to George Magazine. I'm not saying that it doesn't. Let's see. Let's see if there's any meat to go with a statement like that. There must have been some kind of a reconciliation that I don't know about because, from what Dave said and what have you. And don't try to blow this up that I'm trying to keep something alive because less than an hour ago, I had no plans to say any of this. So that would be inaccurate interpretation. And people sometimes do that. Not saying in this case, but people sometimes do that to make it look like they're being persecuted, and that's just not the case. That's just not the case. Sitting in the dark, no power for 6 hours. Is it warm as well, Deborah McGinty? Huh. Yeah. We haven't had too much trouble with the power going out. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was out for a good hour in the evening. Karen has plenty of candles. I'm glad Brenda didn't have to go back into the hospital again. I know she's been many, many times. So let me go to the email. Oh my goodness, look at that. Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised last night. This video isn't up anymore from the group High Five, but the Tennessee Titan, Todd Bradshaw, was watching, and he hit, this very rarely happens when I'm out doing a live broadcast, but I'm grateful that someone would appreciate it like that. He hit the Cash App during the concert for $20. And then Spencer for Hire, TS, also hit the Cash App for $20 during that concert. So I thank you very, very much for that. And then in the actual stream, 3 Severed Heads hit the thanks button. Not sure about you, Miles, there. But there was an odd number of $3.35. I was trying to figure out who 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 gave me that. It wasn't appearing on my screen. But in terms of Cash App tonight, well, pre-show time, Tammy Griffin, Tammy with an I, hit the Cash App for $25. So appreciated. And then there's a very reliable Elaine Peterson. Don't ever feel you have to, Elaine. $10 for a love tip on the Cash App. And Miles Wright, who has been giving frequently, for the first time goes to Cash App. I get more of it when you use Cash App. $50 for Welcome to Tennessee. I can't wait. Where's the Culvers? Where's the Culvers? Where's the Buckies? Must be one in Nashville, right? Must be a Culver's. No? And I have to look it up. I will in a minute. So thank you, Miles Wright. Thank you so much for doing that. It really, really helps. And thank you to the people that did it last night. Certain countries will block live music being played by a band, and you'll usually hear that it's okay that you've done it, but you can't monetize it, which is fine. That's just a gift. I just want you to enjoy it as I enjoy it. If I think the band is good enough, like Tangent is coming on the 19th. The 19th. I hope they don't get rained out. They have the last few years. They're terrific. They're old pros, you know. I think they started in 1989. And when they were working full-time jobs, they only booked like 1 or 2 gigs a month because they had to rest. But now they book a lot more. They have a duo version of Tangent, and then they have the full band. And this will be the full band downtown for the summer music concert series. So that'll be a good one that I hope I get to see them. And Jimmy Sturr and the orchestra with a special patriotic show and more. He'll do his regular stuff too on the 3rd of July. He'll be at the Paramount Theater in December for his Christmas show, but he'll be either outside at John Degnan Square, and it'll be packed, or if it rains, he's the only act they do this for. They move it into the Paramount Theater. So that'll be a good show, as it always is. Polka Sean and Polka Norma, we're doing the Bunker Boys. Check the Bunker Boys out. They do, what do? They do, can't really call it traditional country. They do, don't want to call it hillbilly music. They want to, the southern, whatever I'm trying to say. Let's see here. Just want to make sure. So thank you, Miles Wright. First time on the Cash App. It's been tough to get views with all this glut of material out there. And, the story isn't always going to be hot. I've got a couple ideas, but it's not always going to be hot. And, people, if you ever had the idea that you could kind of choose a side that would be as interpreted as any disrespect to Pastor Bob Joyce, and not hit the points that I did, for example. It's not long before you realize you just killed your golden calf, and then you try to resurrect it. So, thank you. And look at that. Miss Susan Carter's in the mix too. Oh dear. Susan Carter hits the Cash App for $15 for a great show. Really? Some will say I was just ranting, but I had no plans to say any of that at 8 o'clock at night. It's now 10:03 East Coast time on a Saturday night, the 6th. I had no plans to say any of that, but come on, man. Come on, man. You know, it hurts everybody. It hurts everybody because, um, and then there is Nanette. Good to see you. Nanette hits the Cash App for $10. Thank you so much, Nanette. Welcome back. And thank you, everybody that's been doing that. It's a blessing. Um, all this money that's coming in, I'm kind of just letting it stay there for, there's always going to be unexpected expenses. Um, always going to be unexpected expenses. Isn't that true in life? I mean, I'm expecting a bill from Westchester Medical Center for 45 to $60, and it's 135. Well, why? Dr. Naidu wasn't even there. 3 NPs, all very nice, but 3 nurse practitioners were there. And it's like every one of them billed me a copay. Well, I don't need 3. I only need 1. But then again, there was someone who checked my defibrillator. That's a test. I think it's just a test, though. You get the copay just from the test. And the cardiac sonogram, that's a test. Let you know everything is going good. But I never got the results. I'm still trying to get them from May 11th. That's not the norm. Dr. Naidu, they always have the results ready for him. They always do. So you notice the difference. So thank you, everybody, for hitting the Cash App. Thank you, another Susan, for telling me about that big announcement. I wonder if that big announcement has come through yet. Let's take a look. It's so funny that it would be opposite this show too, you know. Let's see. I go on to my regular mix. Grace Wave, that's that music service that's being mentioned. 48 views. 48 views 1 hour ago. All right. Still very much enjoying Robert's active retirement. Robert's active retirement. Aging without children. Who will take care of me? Robert never had children. He and his lovely wife, and they've led a very full life. I respect people that make that decision. Aging without children. Who will take care of me? He's about to be 78 if he hasn't already turned 78. Got a very natural teaching style. He's done so much with his life, and beyond work, he's done so much. And he knows his tech at 78. He didn't say like me, "Oh, I can't learn that." So, way to go, Robert. Way to go, the bald and broke guy, whatever your name is. It must be on that book you wrote. I didn't pay attention to the name on the book. But one thing you can't do is keep saying that media has a ferocious appetite, including the Bob Joyce topic, has a ferocious appetite. You can't keep saying the same intro line or tagline. If you spend your days working with people in their 70s and 80s, if that's your experience, don't say it every time. Don't mention it every time. Don't put it in the title, because people will say, "Well, I've heard this story." Uh, Actually, the bald and broke guy has a lot to say. He's got a lot to say. He's made insights that I say, "Wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good." Very nice delivery. Good stuff. It's not, if you've got talent and you stay at something and you give it your all, it's not uncommon to eventually have a breakout. Oh, look at that. My goodness. I've got a 272,000 views or whatever you got. And then all of a sudden, as fast as you got it, it starts to go down, down, down. You get excited and you go out and you get merch and you get special little things to get money. And, uh, you know, these are the mistakes that new YouTubers or people that never really had too much success with what they did on YouTube. These are the mistakes that they make. And I can say that as someone who is just minimally successful. And I know that. But over 2 million views total, if you add it all up, that's pretty good. That's better probably than I ever got in radio. I don't know about all the years I was on, but who knows? You have no way of telling. You have no way of telling, and those Arbitron ratings always seem like nonsense to me. So, all right. Something big is happening tonight. Pastor Bob Joyce, Elvis, put all the tag words in there, in George Magazine. 1 hour ago, 139 views. Hey, I've had my share of 139 views. I've missed as well. Big announcement coming soon 1 day ago. So now it's something big is happening tonight. I, Pastor Bob Joyce, Elvis, and George Magazine. It's going to be very interesting. Big announcement. Yeah, it's kind of big. Then it talks about the music channel. Oh, it's a new dog. There's a new dog. Very good. May he live a long, healthy life. Very good. I know what it's like when you lose a beloved animal. We've lost our share here in the last 14, 15 years. Many. I don't have much to say on this before the show. So the show hasn't happened yet? Where is it? I want this big show. Why I keep certain Bob Joyce / Elvis discoveries private. Michael Savage would ask for a shovel. That's what he would do. All right. The Bob Joyce and George Magazine Future 2 months ago. Don't blame me. Ay, ay, ay. Jack, I've lost lots of pets, and they are laid to rest in the backyard. Yes, we have Geisha the dog back there. We have Scully. Cougar just walked away when he had the cancer. I'm pretty sure he had the cancer. He walked away. I should have went after him. Some of them just choose to walk away. Herb, our cat Herb, loved Herb. He was like 23 years old. Walked away. My phone is messing up today, says Annette. You made a huge potato salad, huh? Oh, yes. I'm just trying not to eat too much of that potatoes, you know. I was going to call myself Tater Salad, but that's already taken by Ron White. So then I thought, how about I call myself Dick Tater? Dick Tater. Some people would agree with the first, I'm sure, especially tonight. Everyone knows it's Wendy. Wendy. Good evening, Jack, and everyone in the chat. How's everyone doing? Well, I can only speak for myself. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good tonight. Got myself a haircut with Vito Yazzo. Where are you, Vito? Where are you? Vito Yazzo, Yozzo. Check out his music channel here. So I saw him Thursday, and once again, he told me that story. Um, he told me that when he was just starting to sing the Elvis songs and what have you, someone that said they were Bob Joyce messaged him. I don't know if it was, yeah, I guess it was probably an email. I'm not sure. But he messaged him, and this gentleman who called himself Bob Joyce, there are plenty of Bob Joyces, folks, but not plenty that would say, I really like the way you do my early stuff. Now, Vito was a fine Christian man, and he wouldn't sell me a box of spoiled goods. He wouldn't jive me. That's what happened. That's what happened. Does Vito think Bob Joyce is Elvis? No. Okay. Judy and I have Freddy's tonight. The Sundays are wonderful. Someone mentioned Freddy's last week or the week before. So what can I find? Is it just ice cream, or is it like Friendly's, the store where they had, everything from hamburgers and fries to of course, ice cream? When we were at the, by the way, Katina, if you're still here, I do have a couple of boardwalk pictures that Karen took. If I can't find them tonight, I may put them in a pre-recorded video. Gives you a little taste of the boardwalk in 2026 from Wildwood, New Jersey. But we did get some French fries on the boardwalk from Curly's. I guess this is at a lot of festivals and fairs and what have you. Curly's famous shake-ups. Reuse this cup. I plan to, as a prop. Discounted refills. The lemonade was quite nice that came in this cup. And the fries were delicious. Homemade tasting. Thick fries. Short, not certainly the shoestring fries or anything like that. They were very good. They were very good. Curly's. That's not a paid announcement. It's just an experience we had on the boardwalk. Replaces my on-air sign tonight. Huh. So I don't know about Freddy's because we don't have one. They finally put a fence around the Boston market that's been closed for about 8 months now, and it's going to become a Chick-fil-A. They got a fence around there to keep you out. So I think they're going to start doing something. I don't know if they're going to knock Boston Market down or they're just going to convert it into a Chick-fil-A. It's about the same size. I think they might keep it. Lane Peterson doesn't kiss and tell. Jackie O. Who knows what she said before that? I'm not criticizing anything about that, Elaine. I am not. I'm specifically addressing issues that I think are important, not just to me, but to other creators, You got to really look at something in detail. We don't really know what he's doing, do we? I'm not going to say other things that obviously would come to mind, but I'm not putting any disparaging tone to his character. Served as a United States Marine, dealt with cancer twice. So I'm not saying anything about that. I'm talking about the rules of broadcasting. That's what and when people come on that don't have knowledge of those rules and they bust into the YouTube community like it's a fireworks show, and before you know it, you're trying to deal with this burst of someone that seems to be doing it nonstop, um, it's not easy to adjust. And then as a broadcaster, when I see content that's not living up to the hype, uh, when I have done that, I've said, well, I'll tell you, I did that for the views. I did the Michael Jackson thing for the views, but I also thought it was pretty interesting. And I make it clear in that video, which has hit 8,000 views. They seem to be slow in getting the count from 7,900, but it's over 8,000 views now, the Michael Jackson video, which was already out from other creators. I just wanted to put my spin on it. And I said that I felt that these pictures were AI, and I still do. So I wasn't trying to do anything but entertain, and I needed the views. And I'll admit to that. Every creator does that at some point. You think Wings of Pegasus sits down and says, now, what can I do tonight that will, you know, be of interest to a couple of hundred people? No, he's got to think of what will be entertaining. What do they want to hear about? And so far, from what I've seen, he could have done a much better job with the Bob Joyce topic. It's so hot, and to state your opinion 5 or 10 minutes in, so we know how you feel already, that's putting the cart before the horse. You can't put the cart before the horse. You won't go nowhere. He has gone somewhere, though. I can't believe how many music geeks out there love all this detail about notes and stuff like that. I don't know. It's not just the YouTube rules. It's broadcast rules. It's presenting a topic correctly. Uh, it's not about hyping, false hype, or double talk gibberish and things like that. Those things, and as I say, and I know this to be true. Let me be as specific as I can without saying too much. Bob Joyce Official is not happy to see someone take the content from the Cabot, Arkansas concert and put up whole songs, or maybe in terms of Coleman, Alabama, more than that. They're not happy to see that. That takes away from it's their copyrighted material. It's way beyond fair use when you use that much. So that's what I'm talking about. But thank you for your service. Absolutely. May you be cancer-free for many years to come. Hamburgers, onion rings, and great desserts. How about lions, tigers, and bears? Okay. So you would rate their hamburgers way up there at Freddy's, huh? But then again, you haven't been to Bun Slut in Texas. Gotta stop saying that. It's a real place, though. It's a chain in Texas. I've got a veto story to tell you. Well, if you don't want to tell it here, and that probably it'd be better if you emailed it to me, or we can talk, during the week or whatever. He's been cutting my hair now, Vito, for 10 years. I don't know. It's a long time. It's a long time. I'm very loyal to hair people. All the people I've had in the past have been for a number of years, a number of years. No, I haven't, Elaine, and I don't feel an obligation to do that because I'm already, like other creators, one of the people that have, he's going to do what he wants to do. I know that. And I don't have to, every time I see a video from somebody, say, well, let me have a long conversation, when it's pretty easy to tell. I mean, you got to consider everything I've said. I can't repeat everything I've already said. But we'll see what let's see what the big Bob Joyce, Elvis, But breaking news is, huh? And in regards to George Magazine, I miss John the Barber in Middletown. Which one was that? Where did he cut hair, Ken Winters? I'm thinking maybe the place on East Main Street. That came to mind. I don't know. Curry's, right? Is it Curry's? Or was Curry's in the Galleria? More brain, more brain pouring. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to pour out more brain for you. I'm Losing You by Rod Stewart and the Faces. That's a great song from Every Picture Tells a Story. See, I talk so fast. I'm going East Main and Lloyd's. Wow. I think I'm older than you, right, Ken? I obviously am. For me, it was Al the Barber at the corner of East Main and William Street, which is a female salon now, I guess, if it's still open. But I would go with my dad on Saturday, and I'd always wait for Al. I'd always wait for Al. Carol Cook is headed out to recharge her phone and catch the rest of the chat on TV. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Carol Cook. No, I haven't been to San Diego anytime recently, Elaine. I was there. Oh boy, what marriage does this go back to? The first marriage, and we walked into Mexico from San Diego. Very nice community. Don't want to live there. I'm really, sad to see the. It'll be terrible if Steve Hilton doesn't get to run in the governor race. Tom Steyer has spent probably, I don't know how many millions of dollars trying to be president and now trying to be governor of California. He was praising some guy who won his race, but he was competing against women. And of course, he's this tall, strapping guy. He's got an advantage, and he won. And there was Tom Steyer, Mr. Shallow, but yet he's, multi millionaire, saying how proud of him he was. These kind of lugheads, they may have business sense, but they're lugheads in terms of basic common sense. There have been girls that have been hurt, permanent damage when a volleyball comes at their head at 100 miles an hour or whatever. So I had a bunch of people over the years, Ken. There used to be Alice and her husband, Vinny and Alice, down on West Main Street. That salon's long gone. I don't know about them. They actually went to my 1985 wedding. I invited my hair guy and my hair woman because she would help out too, but he was my hair cutter. And that was in the era where I was getting perms in the 80s. So Alice would basically do my perm. Vinny was the hair cutter. Yeah. Radio announcers here in Australia were able to take cash for comments from sponsors years ago, but that has now been disallowed. Some announcers were making a fortune on the side. That's interesting. We didn't have anything like that here in America. We did have a thing called payola, but I was much too young to know about it. Maury the K, and who was the big one? Alan Friedman, way before my time. So, here's Susan Ashok. You kind of motivated tonight's, some would say rant, some would say just a fair explanation of what the heck is going on. I don't know if that was your first comment, but glad you're here. Crab Festival on the 4th of July on the beach. Lots of fun. Well, Oh, I'm editing my own comments in my head. So onion rings. Are they really good onion rings? Big onion rings. The kind that Burger King sells are tasty, but it's kind of like a minced onion in there. I like the Whopper. Once in a while, I get a hankering for a Whopper. It's usually fresh iceberg lettuce, tomato, and fresh onion. I do like that part. There's not a lot of beef in there, but I do enjoy the flame broiled taste sometimes. Excitement, yeah. And it's as I said, I didn't really have much before this. I was thinking about just sitting in the easy chair by the window and just doing one of those, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. Um, okay, got to be careful, but it didn't seem to affect me too much having those perms. Eventually, I just stopped. By the 90s, I was no longer getting perms. I've been dyeing my hair, though, since I've been about 35, 38, something like that. They used to have, what you call it in there. They took that out in 2020 one, or was it 2023? 2023, they stopped putting in, what is it? Can't think of the word. East Main Road in Middletown, Jack, East Main Street, Rhode Island. I don't think I was in Middletown, Rhode Island. Might have been close to it, though. We were in Newport, of course. And so we had to see the Dark Shadows castle, Um, that was funny. We were trying to find it, and we're near the water, and there's like some leaves ahead of me, and Karen's looking the other way, and I pushed the leaves, and there it is. There it is, the beautiful castle that was used for exterior shots only in Dark Shadows. Wonderful, wonderful. And there's a place called Antonio's in Newport. Very good pizza there. Not as good as New York, but pretty good pizza. And we stayed in a cheap motel, as we are known to do. And it was September, so the rates had dropped more than in half. If you're going to go to Rhode Island, go in September. That would be my recommendation. And there was still a ton of people there, by the way. Still a ton of people. Good night, Brenda. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate that. I've never been to Washington State, never been that far out, never been to Oregon. No. California, Nevada, and that's about all she wrote. So Susan knows about Antonio's, huh? Yeah, very nice people there, and good pizza. And there was what kind of place was it across the street? Was it Chinese or something? All I know is it was 100 degrees when we walked in there. They weren't friendly. We looked at the menu without sitting down and just walked out. I remember that. We also ate at the place that is supposed to be tied to the Blue Whale in Dark Shadows. Had a lovely bowl of clam chowder, and I forget what else. Karen had a lobster roll. I know that. That was the most expensive place we ate when we were there. I love pineapple in and Canadian bacon pizza. Well, never had that. When I have my Canadian bacon, it's always on my Egg McMuffin. When I didn't get the first MRI, I'm up early. The defibrillator people canceled on me. They have to be there. I went to McDonald's and I got myself 2 Egg McMuffins. I already had water. It was cool, so you could keep the water in the car. I had my 2 Egg McMuffins. That's all I needed. Hit the spot. Well, here's Mountain Folk looking spiffy. Jack, well, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I put a coat of paint on as well. One more coat before Franklin, Tennessee on the 10th of July to see Pastor Bob Joyce in concert. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I always have to say that. Went to the Galleria, Ken, for a long time to get my hair cut. And before that, went to the Orange Plaza, I'm sure. Foggy memories of that. So there you go. 55 watching and 40 likes right now. It is a Saturday night worldwide ramblings, and here's lovely Rita Maid checking in. Hijacking, everyone. Nice to have you aboard. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Radio announcers, yeah, we talked about that. Okay. Chick-fil-A is Judy's favorite, really. I guess it's okay. Sunday coming back from New Jersey, from Wildwood, New Jersey, we got all the way up to the rest stop there, in the Harriman area, just before you're going to take exit 15 to go on Route 17. And we stopped there. And Chick-fil-A puts a sign up on Sunday explaining why they're not open on Sundays. There's a sign that sits out there. And the other places, we're doing a booming business, but I just used the facilities and left, I just want to find myself a Culver's. You know that, you guys. I want to find myself. There must be a Culver's in Tennessee. Has anyone on here ever had fried pickles? No, I see them at the fairs. If not, go to KFC. And it comes with sauce, $3.69. I'd try it. Love pickles. Isn't it funny how we can take any food and make it a little less healthy? All right. Well, people are visiting and what have you. Let's see here. Go to my channel. Some videos that we have. Could Bob Joyce have been 75 in 2011? That was brought up by one of our regular viewers at the time. Don't know if they still are. Bald and Broke review. I talk about that channel. Encourage you to watch. Shatner falls off a horse and then a few days later goes to I think he had some kind of procedure. And then a few days after that, he went to a fan convention. He said, I'm still going. Suddenly 70, the horror of being sure of nothing. A miraculous 404 views. Please watch that one. Got some good stuff in it. But it doesn't hit the audience I'm looking for. Last week, it was Rare Elvis on the Chocolate Box, the Russell Stover's box, and Barry Manilow in serious trouble. We talk about Barry's voice problems as he is scheduled to open in Las Vegas somewhere around the 25th of this month, and it's very iffy. Bob Joyce, The Proof is in the Skin, has 3,700 views. Bob Joyce, what song do you want him to sing? That's not setting the night on fire, but quite a few people commented. 45 comments. See if there's any new song choices here. Okay, so American Trilogy is the one that is the most popular. And Smitty said that he didn't sing American Trilogy at either concert. Okay. So that's the one there. I don't I don't know if he would do that in addition to something um, that's not going to be on the new CD. I don't know how that's going to work. If he's going to have to do extra songs because that would only be about 10 songs, and I think he does more than that in a concert. So we shall see. Um, I'm thinking not, and that's all I'm going to say about that, Smitty. I'm thinking that's not going to happen. I want Unchained Melody. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I want Unchained Melody as the last song of the concert. If I Can Dream, says Tammy with an I. Yeah. So not too many new comments there. Videos have their shelf life and then they pretty much die on the vine. One exception is The Verdict, my most popular video. Still gets people, and it's close to 250,000 views. Bob Joyce tickets on sale, and they sold out within 24 hours. They sold out within 24 hours. Let's go to bobjoyce.org, see if there's anything happening there that we need to know about. Yep, they're stressing right in the front that the concert has been sold out for July 10th at the Franklin Theater. 24 hours. You can watch the sermon Never Disappointed. We played some of it on Wednesday night, just a taste, and it's great. It's great. Pastor Bob, you can see he's relaxed and enjoying what he's doing, and he's doing God's work. So there you go. Bob Joyce concert in Cabot, Arkansas with improved sound. You can click on it right there, and then you know when you do that, that those clicks are going into the Household of Faith Bob Joyce Ministry. Did a great version of How Great Thou Art, didn't he? Great version of How Great Thou Art in Cabot, Arkansas. Wonderful. So other than that, I don't see anything new there. Don't forget about bobjoycemusic.com. bobjoycemusic.com. Subscribe for just $9.99 a month, and you'll get exclusive content, videos, and the Pastor Bob Joyce blog, etc., etc. bobjoycemusic.com. And let's see here. Just looking at the list here. We'll let you know if there's any big Pastor Bob Joyce, George Magazine, Elvis news. We'll let you know. But I'm not going to make a habit of this. This is just something that I was pointed to by one of you, Susan. and all of a sudden I thought, I got to say something about this. I got to say something about this. Each creator has a responsibility to, to tell the story accurately. And we all going to hype, titles are very important. The title of a video, very important. But there are broadcast rules, not YouTube rules. They have their own rules, though, of course, but broadcast rules. So there you go. That's what we want to be, is accurate. Accurate. Ken Winters. Can you believe Coney Island restaurant closed, Ken? Can you believe that? Has nothing to do with Coney Island in Brooklyn, folks. Nothing at all. But it seems to me that somebody else would have wanted kept that tradition going. These people that took it over, the last people were only open till 4 in the afternoon. And so it never saw its full potential with them running it. Yeah, Karen likes the Popeyes chicken sandwiches. She does. Yeah, they're good. Haven't had one in a long time, though. Did anyone, very good question, Elaine, did anyone here get tickets to, I only know of one person and that I don't think is here right now. Did anybody get tickets to uh, Franklin, Tennessee? Anybody? I know, it was a high price. Homer is here. Homer Overcash. Hi, Homer. Good evening, Jack, and everyone else. Nice to see you, Homer. I'm sorry, last time I thought I was confusing you with somebody else. I forget what the issue was now. Popeyes around here all closed, and you're in Tennessee, Homer. Where are you again? That's interesting because they took over here on Route 211. They took over the former Arby's building. Arby's was dying on the vine, but they do very well out in the town of Newburgh at the Pilot truck stop. And their menu got better, so they started to get popular again. But Popeyes, oh boy, they do really well. Right across from Burger King, right across from it. Yeah. When you think of restaurants that close at 2 or 3 p.m., it usually would be a bagel place that's open at 5 a.m. I can understand, Um, they have a breakfast and a lunch crowd, and that's enough. It's usually the same people or some of the same people. We have a great, as Ken would probably attest to this, we have a great bagel place in the Campbell Plaza where ShopRite is. And I love Sal and Demetria, the loving couple that work there who wrestle outside the restaurant when they get out. I mean, they've done this 100 times, probably more. They're out there wrestling. People think it's a real fight, but they couldn't love each other more, and they put on the show. So one time when they were doing it, Karen was with me. I bent down and I said, I just can't understand why you do for free something you could sell tickets to. And she laughed. He laughed. He said, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. Teresa Williams, there is a Culver's in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is about 1 hour from Franklin. I got to do better than that. Nothing in Nashville, which is right next door. Teresa, don't depress me. Ken Winters, not surprised it closed. Food was terrible and expensive. People from India took it over, I guess, right? I got the Coney Island hot dog, and that's all I got. I would go in there and say 2 with everything, or they sold the sauce, and the sauce tasted pretty close to what it always did, but I didn't have anything else. The coleslaw was the other thing they were known for, and I don't know if it was with this ownership, but the one before it was still good. I love a good coleslaw, as you guys know. So sad though, because it was here when I was a little kid, where Festival Square is now, was Coney Island Restaurant till it burned down. Yeah, Homer's in North Carolina. You've told me that before. Oh, let me sit back as you guys chat. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. If you can, hit the thanks button. For a few dollars, you go to ask, and then that leads to thanks. If you can hit that for a few dollars, that would be much appreciated. Oh, there's Katina saying good night. Good night, Katina Swatsworth. Thanks for dropping by. She often watches the replay, and thank her very much for that. Always want to have. Oh, here's Deborah McGinty, and I missed it. In beautiful orange, Deborah. Deborah McGinty hits the thanks button for $20. Thank you very much. And almost the color of my car. My car is a little darker orange. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Nancy DeMarco is announcing to everyone that she's late. So you're going to have to go to the drugstore and get that test. Hi, Jack. Sorry I am late. Why would you be sorry you're late? Because you were naughty? I'm sorry, Nancy. Yeah, you're right, Susan. It's a lot of miles. But, I take my breaks when I need to. I don't like the bus thing. The flying is usually very early. How do I get to the airport? If I take the train to go to Newark, I'm out there in a very vulnerable area. Can be at night coming back, especially. I'm an easy target, I feel. And it's a very violent, mad world. But things can happen anywhere. Robin has leg, back, and hip issues. So does Karen. Circulation issues. But doing whatever I can to help myself, though. God's strength. Thank you again, Deb. Thank you very, very much for hitting the thanks button. Jack, when you get back from the concert, I believe you will be so exhilarated. Yeah. Well, I'll be popping on to pop off from the general area. That's all I can say right now. I don't want to be too camera crazy, including in the meet and greet. I want to take in the experience, but I don't want to, we'll see what other people are doing. I know in past the meet and greets, there was a long line and what have you. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I know one of our family, who I might see here right now, will be taping my moment with Pastor Bob, should he allow such a thing to happen. And I'm sure they'll share that with me. Good to see you here. I went to a Buddhist hot dog stand and asked them to make me one with everything. Buddhist hot dog stand. That's funny. And then they hit you with a ruler, right? Because that's part of Buddhism. Got to teach you discipline. It's kind of an earn your salvation type thing. But your salvation, what that is up to speculation. Because I'll leave it at that. Well, you said it. I knew it. You are going to Franklin. I guess I just gave that information out inadvertently, didn't I? Yeah. Got a good third table from the stage. Surprised there are tables because it's a theater. Wouldn't there be regular theater seats? It sure looks like that. I'm confused. They're not going to yank unless they were not permanent seats. So I'm confused about that. It'll be a fun adventure, Jack. I pray it will. I pray it will. So, yeah, not much to say about Politics, I know people don't want me to do a lot of it. Just that when you see Karen Bass getting the votes that she's getting, she's been a disaster for Los Angeles. Everything she promised, forget it. But they still think a certain amount of voters that are not in the high income level think they will get the most free stuff out of Karen Bass, and that's why she gets those kind of votes. Then there's crazy people like Karen's friends. Let's call them Rich and Harry. Rich and Harry. Oh boy, try to understand reasoning that they spout. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But it's the United States, and fortunate for them, they can say what they want. And as long as they don't threaten the president of the United States, when you do that, you can have the Secret Service knocking at your door. So, yeah. Getting ready to say goodbye to Al Green and what's her name there? From Texas. The Dark Shadows Castle, which is, come on, what's the name of the place? He changed the name. The latest, I don't know if he's a billionaire or a millionaire. He's an artist who bought the, I think he bought it for 33 million, something like that. It's right there in Newport, right near the water. It's in the fancy section where Jay Leno has his house. And all the rich, we walked around it, no cops or anything. Everything was quiet. Some of the gates to the mansions were open. Some of the mansions have tours. You have to book all this in advance. You can go tour. No, so far the guy or any of the previous owners have not offered a tour of the Dark Shadows mansion. But remember, it was only used for exterior shots. Lyndhurst in Tarrytown is where they shot a good part of House of Dark Shadows and Night of Dark Shadows, the movies. But in terms of the TV show, 53rd and 8th, 53rd and 8th, that building has long been torn down. So yeah, we're on the, is it the 4th or the 5th? I think we're on the 5th time of watching Dark Shadows on Prime Video. We're in the beginning episodes. We're up to about 32, episode 32. So Barnabas won't be coming to episode 210. If you start watching Dark Shadows on Tubi or Prime Video or Pluto, I would recommend you start with episode 210, the introduction of the vampire. And then when you get through all of that, watch the first 209 episodes, and you'll appreciate them much more. But when Jonathan Frid took on the role of Barnabas Collins, the show was that close to cancellation. Creator Dan Curtis had to beg them for another 13 weeks, beg them for 13 more weeks. And what inspired him was his own children that said, "Dad, why don't you make it scarier? Make it scarier." And he got to thinking about that, and he talked to his head writers, especially after he got the go-ahead to for 13 more weeks coming up. He said, "What about a vampire?" And he said, "Yes, that's it, vampire." And they wanted it to be somebody you wouldn't think be a vampire, blonde and what have you, guy. And he picked somebody that looked very much like Bela Lugosi in a sense, very much like Bela Lugosi. And so the show that was hanging by a thread soared at its peak in 1968, 69, 20 million viewers. Dan Curtis said, "I have never seen anything like it since or before." 20 million people rushing home from school, or adults watching Dark Shadows. And here in 2026, there are so many Facebook groups that talk about, like the Dark Shadows Appreciation Society has something like 400,000 plus members, et cetera, et cetera. And there's about 30, 40 Dark Shadows groups on Facebook. So it's a phenomenon. People still love it. And the 60th reunion will be July 31st, August 1st and 2nd. It's not in Burbank. It's at the hotel, maybe at LAX, the Westin Hotel. And you can still get in there. You can still get in there, I believe. So if you have more money than I have, no one said, we'll cover your Dark Shadows trip, some rich guy, because it's going to cost, when you add it all up, $7,000, between the airfare, the hotel. It's not so much to get in and out of there, but other expenses. It's going to cost $6,000 or something. It's way past their budget. Jack got dogs on Susan. Got dogs on Susan. Jack got dogs on Susan. Coney style. Still has the chili recipe. A chili recipe. It's a cold recipe. People always said they had the recipe, and then when you would taste it, if they were to cook it up for you, something was missing. Worcestershire was in there. I found that out. But there is a few people that have it right here in Middletown. Bert. You know Bert, don't you, Ken Winters? Bert and Bertha. Bert worked at Coney Island for a long time, and then he went over to Maddie's, and he was the cook there. In fact, I think he was working the kitchen when the fire broke out. I think so. Yeah. But Maddie's rebuilt and rebounded. So there you go. So thanks again to everyone who hit the Cash App. Spencer for Hire, the Tennessee Titan, Todd Bradshaw from last night, Tammy Griffin this morning, Nanette, Susan Carter, and Miles Wright for the first time on the Cash App. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that so much. And, well, I got the recipe from Alex, who worked at the original place before they moved near the bowling alley. Yeah, I was in that original place many times as a youngster. We'd get 3 hot dogs and a large chocolate milk back in the day. 3 hot dogs and a large chocolate milk. Just don't get much better than that. And they put a lot more onions on then. But I didn't go into the Coney Island and order a hamburger. I just didn't. I'm not saying I never did once, but I don't go into Perkins and order the chicken strips because they're horrible for one thing. But those pancakes and those omelets that go with it, oh dear, good stuff. And of course the Flaming Grill right down the road from that. I think we feel like this sometimes in Psalm 74, NIV. Why have you rejected us forever, O God? Why does your anger smolder against the sheep of your pasture? Remember the people you purchased of old, the tribe of your inheritance, whom you redeemed, Mount Zion, where you dwelt. Turn your steps towards those everlasting ruins. All this destruction that the enemy has brought on the sanctuary. Your foes roared in the place where you met with us. They set their standards as signs. They behaved like men wielding axes to cut through a thicket of trees. They smashed all the carved paneling with their axes and hatchets. They burned your sanctuary to the ground. They defiled the dwelling places of your name. They said in their hearts, we will crush them completely. Does this sound familiar? They buried every place where God was worshipped in the land. We are given no miraculous signs, no prophets are left, and none of us knows how long this will be. How long will the enemy mock you, O God? Will the foe revile your name forever? Why do you hold back your hand, your right hand? Take it from the folds of your garment and destroy them. Yeah, we all feel like that sometimes. That's part of Psalm 74. Got to read the whole word of God to get the whole counsel of God. God bless you all. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, everybody that's here tonight. Your new show, What's a Cooking? Well, things roll around in my head, whether they come to fruition or not always. And don't give up. Don't give up the lead. Other people are watching. So we'll see. There's going to be any breaking news from others. We'll see if that's going to come to fruition. But hey, I brought this up tonight because someone pointed it to me, and I thought, this hurts all the creators. Too bad Donald Stone didn't chat with us. Maybe he'll email me or Facebook message me. That's another thing he might do. I hope so. Thank you, Ken Winters. Hope to see you, and email me about what you were talking about, okay? At least give me a little taste of what you were talking about. So that's Worldwide Ramblings for a Saturday, the 6th of June, 2026. Probably see you next Wednesday, 9 p.m. East Coast time. But subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Oh, what a joy it would be to see that go above 12,000. Well above 12,000. Like and hit the notification bell. That would all help me very much. So when we do pop on or do a pre-recorded video, you'll know about it. Big God bless you. Bye-bye, everybody.